Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, happy holidays to everybody out there in Cyberland. Hopefully you're enjoying a good holiday season. And this is the last webinar of the year for Huawei. We've done a whole bunch of them this year, and we've had a great time doing it, but this is the last one. So be on the lookout for invites early in 2014 for our next series. Today, the subject is WLAN, and we're going to have a presentation from two different individuals. The first is going to be Rick Fortune, who's with our partner Heavy Water. He's an account consultant, a little bit about Heavy Water and what they're doing in general and also specifically in the WLAN space. And then the Huawei presenter is going to be Stuart Shervin, who's with our channel marketing group, and he's going to give us a good overview of the Huawei product line. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that for attending today's webinar, you will be given a $10 Starbucks gift card. And they do have some special holiday potions they're mixing up, so be sure to go grab a Starbucks on Huawei, and thank you very much again for your time. We realize it's very valuable. As always, we do want you to send your questions in the GoToWebinar interface. There's a Q&A panel. Keep your questions coming, and we'll save about 10 minutes or so at the end and address as many questions as we can. And then finally, we will have some polling questions throughout the presentation, so when we do that, we strongly encourage you to vote on the polling questions, and as we always do, we'll share the results with you so you can see what your peers are thinking about. So that's a bit of the overview. Of course, this session is being recorded and will be made available on the Huawei website within a day or so after the finish of the presentation, so you'll be able to listen to it again or pass on the link to friends. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Rick Fortune from our partner Heavy Water. Go ahead, Rick.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us. Again, I'm Rick Fortune. I'm an account consultant with Heavy Water, and I'm very pleased to be joining Huawei in this presentation for you, and I'm even more pleased to have them as a partner. So for those of you who, some of you may know Heavy Water, but for the benefit of those who don't, I'm going to take a few minutes to give you an overview of our business. And beginning with this next slide, which has just come up, you see our mission is to help our customers extract maximum potential from their technology investments. And we've been doing that since 1992. What we call ourselves, or actually what most of our customers call us, is the techie to the techies. And what we try to do is take a deep dive into the technology and consult with you to realize business advantages from that technology and establish a long-term relationship with you as a technical advisor. On the next slide, which describes how we accomplish that, you'll see that our business is focused on three key practices wrapped by a fourth. And Huawei fits perfectly into our structure. You see the main practice is unified infrastructure and encompasses converged voice and data as well as video and telecom infrastructure services. We have a security practice that offers both audits and roadmap design, as well as managing applications, third-party applications, as well as applications that are offered by companies like Huawei, and we can both manage those and integrate them into our support services on your behalf. The management service, or management practice, I should say, allows us to take advantage of, you can go back, we're not there yet. Still on the management practice here. Thank you. So the management practice will allow us to go ahead and both manage your infrastructure, devices, and applications on there, and again integrate those into third-party applications like CA Unicenter and the like for the purpose of keeping a good view on your network and using that information to troubleshoot it. Troubleshooting we do based on a couple of different practices in our support and lifestyle, I should say life cycle maintenance practice. And there we have basic break fix, which we can work on in conjunction with our business partners like Huawei. And we also have services that include a NOC, a 24/7 NOC, where you will always get a human answering your phone call. And we will have that being expanded over the next couple of months, in fact, due to the amount of business that's been coming in and the services we've been providing for those customers. And I assure you that we will be including Huawei in those 24/7 services as well. So beginning with the next slide, I'll just take a few moments to talk about the subject of our gathering today, which is WLAN solutions. And Heavy Water has many years of real-world experience and certifications in deploying these types of both small business and large business and global WLAN infrastructure solutions across multi-vendor enterprises. There really is no one-stop shop, and we're prepared to integrate Huawei and any other technologies that you have in your infrastructure into something that works for you going forward and allows you to migrate into what you need to be going forward. So a couple of examples are there of some of our larger customers. I just kind of wanted to focus on them to give you an idea of the scope. We've got a New Jersey school district with 200 or more access points and a global law firm that has 200 or more access points. And we've done everything from consulting and design to procurement and ongoing support of networks. We, of course, design, stage, implement, and continue to support both indoor and outdoor solutions. And I know that Huawei does offer both of those. Most of you probably have heard of Bring Your Own Device by now, and if you've already at least started looking at offering wireless services in your enterprise, then you know that guest access is an issue. You have vendors and partners and customers who come in with their devices and maybe need to gain access to the internet, and you need to be able to provide that to them securely. And between our management services and the applications that are provided by Huawei, we can certainly ensure that you can be as secure as possible while offering that access to your partners and your customers so that you can deliver them the services that they need. Again, ongoing support that Heavy Water provides, we view as a way, and most of the industry views as a way of reducing the total life cycle cost of any network. And we do that in conjunction with our best-in-class partnerships. And we really believe, based on everything that we've seen and done, that Huawei is going to become one of those partners for us. We have our engineering team vet and investigate every vendor partner that we intend to bring on to make sure that they fit into all of the applications and all the practices that we deliver to our customers. And everything that we've seen so far makes us very confident that Huawei is going to be one of our main partners going forward. So we're very happy to be here with them, and even more happy to allow them to present some of their solutions to you, which we will wrap into our practices and deliver to you as a total package that will work for you to delight your customers and any other users that are on your network. And with that, I will turn it back over to Stu so that we can get started.
Hey, thanks, Rick. Really appreciate it. And it is time for our first polling question. So let's go ahead and launch that now. And the first polling question is, what are your biggest challenges with your WLAN network? And if you're a partner, what are the biggest challenges for your customers? And multiple answers. Is it security that you're worried about with bringing in these BYOD devices? Is it unreliable, unpredictable performance? Is it onboarding of guests into your wireless network? Is it performance with some of the high-demand video and multimedia streaming that needs to be accommodated now? Or is it the fact that access seems unfair? Some devices are getting faster connections or connecting easier than others. So go ahead and vote for all that matter. I will mention that Huawei is very excited to have partners like Heavy Water working with us, and Stuart will talk a little bit in a minute, and especially towards the end, about how partners can join into the Huawei family. We're going to go ahead and close the poll down here just in a few seconds, so go ahead and get your final votes in, and then I'll show everybody the results. Okay, we're closing it down, and let's go ahead and look at it. It looks like more than half of you believe that security is a very significant challenge. Almost half think performance is a big issue. Onboarding guests, not quite so much, and then performance for a high demand wireless video and multimedia, and to a lesser extent these kind of unfair access. So just interesting information that will help Stuart as he goes through the rest of the presentation. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Stuart Shervin from Huawei's Channel Marketing Group. Stuart, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Nick, and thank you, Rick. Thank you for joining the Huawei family here. So I'm going to give you guys an overview today of the Huawei WLAN offering. But what I'd like to start with is it's a quick overview of Huawei's comprehensive ICT product and solution portfolio. As you can see here on this screen, down the left-hand side, Huawei has a very, very comprehensive enterprise business portfolio covering everything from data center infrastructure, the enterprise network and enterprise wireless. Wireless is what we're going to talk about today. On up to what I consider the the glitz and the glam today, and that's UCC with telepresence, right? Telepresence units, video conferencing and individual telepresence, as well as contact centers. So Huawei offers a very, very complete end-to-end solution, and we also focus in three areas that are that are very hot today. One is BYOD, bring your own device, and we're going to touch on that today. Also the software-defined network, which is really gaining in steam, and then cloud data, right? Everybody likes to put their data in the cloud today, as it's as it's a very efficient and cost-effective way to distribute as well as house your data. And across all of these these enterprise business solutions, we fit in almost every vertical out there today: oil and gas, finance, transportation, education. We have applications that fit in all of these areas. So let's talk a little bit about the opportunities and the challenges that are associated with wireless. Today, there's been a very, very rapid deployment of Wi-Fi terminals, right? And it's been made it's made BYOD very, very popular. So the mobile office workspace is becoming the workspace today and going forward. 2013 numbers say that mobile office working environment is about 70% of today's enterprise office network that's deployed across the country. And so what this brings to light when it comes to Wi-Fi, are some of the quality issues, right? I mean, Wi-Fi is a wonderful technology for more simple connection, but today we're talking about interconnected office and an interconnected workforce, right? That's sharing applications, sharing video, engaging in very bandwidth intensive exercises that can go beyond the capabilities of a standard Wi-Fi, right? And the IT departments today when it comes to Wi-Fi are looking at access security, user management, and user experience. So the user access control mechanism might be a little weak in Wi-Fi. User management of campus networks is a bit complicated. So there are a number of challenges in the Wi-Fi space that that what we'll see in WLAN is built to cover. So let's talk a little bit about sort of how Huawei has approached this this enterprise WLAN product that we now make available. There are a lot of sort of key pieces that need to come together in what I would call a well thought out WLAN solution. First is fixed line network. The second is mobile network, and the third is is the IP network, right? So I mean it's easy to produce a very simple Wi-Fi LAN, but when you're talking about WLAN, you need to bring together these three key elements to really produce I'll call it an enterprise grade wireless experience. So when it comes to Huawei and our wireless LAN approach, we looked at focusing on what we consider to be the three major components of this. One is bandwidth, right? The second is coverage area, and the third is lower total cost of ownership. These are the three things that we hear out in the marketplace today, and those are the three things that we've focused on around what we call our industry-leading, WLAN technology. So in the area of bandwidth, right? In a single client scenario, the intelligent antenna technology, we improve it. We improve the bandwidth there by 11.4%. In a multi-channel scenario, right? The adaptive scheduling technology that we have improves bandwidth by 16.4. So we're really focused on improving that bandwidth. Second, larger coverage area, right? We do, an advanced modulation technology that increases the coverage by 100%. So very, very important. And then lower total cost of ownership, right? Covering the areas of, easy planning, easy deployment, and easy acceptance, as well as easy management. And then the last one you see down here on the bottom is the 11AC AP, right? So we were the first vendor out there with the 802.11 AC AP, right? In commercial use. So we stay on the cutting edge of today's wireless technology. So then the slide that you're seeing now is just a little bit on deployment scenarios, and we're going to get into that in a little bit more detail later in the deck. But we kind of cover all the various pieces here. We have the outdoor bridged AP, we've got the indoor distributed AP, we have our eSite, which is our management solution, our access controllers that you see there in a campus environment, and then our indoor settled AP. So we have deployment scenarios that really cover the bandwidth and cover the breadth of requirements out there when it comes to a wireless LAN setup. So right now I'd like to kick it over to Nick for our second polling question. Nick?
Excellent. Thank you, Stuart, very much. All right, guys, the next thing we want to figure out from you is what is the actual trigger that's moving you to WLAN. And this is really a select the one that is the most important trigger. Is it the BYOD and mobility movement? Is it price? Is it the ease of maintenance relative to cabling wires all over the place and stringing all the wires to every location? Is it now the fact that the performance is catching up to the point where you can still maintain the necessary performance with WLAN? Or is it just part of the whole wired and wireless convergence? So go ahead and make your vote. I think one of the things Stuart said that's really important is the fact that Huawei has a tremendous investment in R&D, and in fact it's about $4 billion annually that Huawei invests in research and development, and has over 70,000 engineers that are developing its entire product portfolio. So very heavy involvement in the standards committees and just investment in R&D and technology in general, which is a huge advantage of the company. So we're going to go ahead and close out this poll. Place your vote here in the last couple seconds, and we'll show you guys the results. Okay, and it looks like about a third of you were very focused on the mobility answer. About a quarter of you believe it's just easier to maintain the wireless environment relative to the wired, and you can see the rest of the results there. So again, interesting information as Stuart proceeds along. It just kind of helps him get a feel for what your pain points are and kind of what's moving you into this mode. So with that, we're going to turn it back over to you, Stu.
Great, thanks, Nick. All right, so let's press ahead here onto our next slide. So we're going to get into a little bit. We're going to get into a little bit more of the detail when it comes to some of the capabilities here that sort of make the Huawei product, the Huawei APs, stand out from the rest of the crowd, right? And so strong coverage and a superb user experience. On one of the earlier slides, I talked about larger coverage area. So how does Huawei do that, right? Well, with our product, we have our built-in antennas, right, which are really first-rate antennas built to an industrial design standard, and we use, not to get into too much detail here, but we use an independent reflecting board, right, so that it creates a really acute pattern And this pattern optimizes the radio performance, and net what this does is it reduces the holes that someone might have in their wireless network, right? So as you can see there, this results in what we like to call a hole-free radio coverage, okay, which is very important when it comes to a wireless LAN. And we say that that our radio coverage area is increased by 30% due to the way we design our product. Now we're really going to get into some serious bits and bytes here. And we're going to talk a little bit about beamforming, right? So Huawei's APs, we adopt what we call beamforming plus technology and a bidirectional feedback mechanism, right? And this all sort of comes together to reduce signal loss, right? Which is the big challenge here, right? So this significantly reduces, it significantly improves the signal quality at the receive end, right? So Huawei's APs are providing a stable and reliable wireless access for customers. So a little bit more in detail on beamforming plus, right? Beamforming plus, and that's a mouthful to say, right? It ensures what we call efficient information exchange between IPs and wireless network adapters, right? So explicit beamforming selects the most appropriate matrix, right, among the multiple spatial streams according to the closed-loop feedback from terminals, and this ensures the best transmit performance. Traditional beamforming technology uses what we call an open ring feedback mechanism, and it pilots signals and data streams are transmitted in a way and modulated by the terminals, right? So our beamforming plus is backwards compatible. So with legacy terminals, and it improves the signal quality on these terminals. So we're coming out there with a multi-user, multi-service performance, which improves things by 20%. So now let's get into a little bit about the WLAN chipset that we have here. Our APs reduce data retransmission, right, by improving effective signal gain and codec capabilities, obtaining data streams from interface signals, and employing error correction mechanisms, under interference, right? So we have two, very important features here. One is the MRC, and the other is the MLD, right? So MRC is maximum ratio combining, and this combines gains from multiple channels, right, to offset the multipath effect, right? So we're reducing multipath interference, and we have a strong anti-interference capability, right, to apply to these, complex or complicated environments where these WLANs might be installed. And then the other is the MLD, or the maximum likelihood detection, right? This combines, coding algorithms, so this can obtain the best DER performance, combine and improve effective signal strength to reduce data retransmission and reduce interference between terminals in those really high-density user access scenarios. So our chipset is set up out there to reduce data retransmission by 30%. So very, very forward-thinking, third-generation chipset technology. So now a little bit about our enterprise-specific product. You can see a picture there of our WA6610, right? So the WA6610 embedded protection capabilities in the unit to reduce the cost of the hardware. Fewer engineering accessories are required, right, to reduce engineering costs. If you can look down at the bottom of the slide there, all in this one unit, we've got a common outdoor AP. We've got a 4x feeder surge protector. We've got a network port surge protector, as well as an AC surge protector. So what this offers you is the protection and the reliability that you may not get in other APs, that might require, extra sealing for water prevention, or ground lines for surge protection, or any other sort of fault rate or installation reliability issues that we cover in ours that might not be covered in other APs. Nick, it's time for polling question number 3.
Excellent. So the final polling question has to do with 802.11ac. We know there's still a lot of 802.11n out there, and what we're trying to find out is what is your time frame, or if you're a partner, what is your customer's time frame to move to 802.11ac? Are you already there? Are you doing it within the next 6 months, within the next 2 years, more than 2 years out, or you have no plans at all to move to it? So we'll give you a few seconds to vote here. I think what Stuart really was keying on there on those last couple of slides is the kind of carrier class products that Huawei makes with the built-in surge protection and some of the other features he was talking about. It really shows you that there are a difference between products from different vendors in terms of quality and in terms of reliability. So that was very important. So we'll give you another couple seconds to close out on the vote, and we'll figure out where everyone is in terms of their anticipated migration to 802.11ac. Okay, let's go ahead and close it out, and we'll share with you. We've got a small percentage, 7% that are already there, but there's probably 65+% are going to be doing this within the next 2 years, and only a small portion have no plans whatsoever to move to 802.11ac. So again, that's just helpful information to us as we get a feel for where you guys stand. Excellent. So with that, we're going to turn it over to Stuart to go ahead and take us home.
Great. Thanks, Nick. So let's go forward here to the next slide. All right. So we've talked a lot about performance, and we've talked about coverage, right? So when it comes to the installation of WLAN, what we also focus on here is a very user-friendly design to the product, which makes it very, very quick and easy to install. Okay, we have a very nice handle. We have a very nice, fast pole mount, fast wall mount. Basically, our user-friendly design simplifies the installation to a point where, it can take you, one person, about 15 minutes to install an AP, right? So very, very fast installation, very easy to use kits, and the same mounting kit is used for wall and for pole. Now there are some other products out there, and I'm not going to name names, even though I put it on the slide, where an install for an AP could take up to 15 minutes. And the AP is very, very heavy and a little bit difficult to mount. So, we try to make sure that we cover all of the basics when it comes to a WLAN product because of its, its incredibly wide, array of possible implementations, both inside and outside. We want to make it simple for it to be put up for you. So let's talk just a little bit about the engine of a wireless campus network. A little while ago we talked about 11AC, right? So currently, Huawei 6605 is 2x10 on the optical ports, and it's 4x combo ports and 20 by GE electrical ports. And what's really important here is that this engine, it meets all the requirements for gigabit access, and it supports all types of APs. It supports 11A, B, G, N, and AC. So it's a very, very smooth evolution to 11AC. Now let's talk a little bit about our AP 7120, right? The 7120 is really sort of the first in this kind of incredible throughput, and it's been verified through testing, right? When we came out with the 7120, we made a conscious effort to focus on, higher, faster, stronger, and lower, right? So when it comes to higher, we focus on, sort of it being able to provide sort of higher order 256 QAM modulation, right, which is 33% more efficient than 64. In the area of faster, we support 8080 plus 8060 in terms of megahertz channels. So the highest speed is 4 times the rate of the earlier 802.11 standards. So we've really pushed the envelope here when it comes to speed. And then stronger. We support a maximum of 8 by 8, with 8 spatial streams. So a more powerful MU and MIMO beamforming. And then in the area of lower, we have a faster power-saving mode. So we ensure, much longer standby time. And just to kind of put this in perspective, the AP7120, it is the first enterprise 11AC AP, right? And it's backwards compatible, and it protects, so it can protect the customer's investment, and it provides, sufficient bandwidth for gigabit access. So a real forward-thinking product in terms of its technology and capabilities. So that sort of covers our WLAN introduction today. What I'd like to touch on a little bit now are some promotions that Huawei has out there here in Q4. As you can see there, we've got a promotion out there in the area of switching, both on our 53 and our 2700, as well as storage in the 2600T. All of these promotions you can get through Heavy Water. They have access to all of these products. Also, the video conferencing. We did a webinar a little while ago on video conferencing. Huawei's TE30 is really sort of the video conferencing of the future in a very small, easy to implement unit, right? So video conferencing and telepresence, something that sometimes people think are just those large telepresence units, is now affordable in a very easy, small, simple to install package. So this triple play promotion is out there, and it is available. And for those that want to get more information on this, this is available up on the Huawei website, and I'll give you that URL in a second. Also, we have a year-end Cloud Engine top of rack switch promotion with 3 bundles available there, and as you can see, the discounts are significant here at the year-end. Some of the highlights, great value, right? So less than $100 per 10 gig port, which is very nice. High performance and low latency in our top of rack switches. Data center ready, high reliability, and easy operation. So all of these promotions and products that you see here on these last 2 slides are available through Heavy Water, and detailed information are available on both of these promotions on our website. As you can see here, I've pressed on to our thank you and question slide. The website in reference there is the Huawei EnterpriseUSA.com site. All of the information on all of our products and promotions are up there, as well as information on all of the shows that Huawei attends and all of the webinars that we deliver out there for our audience. It's all up on the website, and if you have any specific questions, we have a general Huawei email address there, huaweiinfo@huawei.com, which will get your questions answered, as well as a phone line there that comes into our ISR team. and they will make sure that we get your questions answered as well. So with that, that's the end of our delivery of the content. Now I'd like to pass it back to Nick so that we can address any questions that came in during my presentation. Nick?
Thanks, Stuart. Great job, and we do have a number of questions, so let's go ahead and address those. This first one I think is going to be for Rick, because it's a question specifically about heavy water, and the question is, what geographies and or verticals does heavy water focus on, and where are your offices?
Oh, our offices are our headquarters is in New York, in New Rochelle, New York. We have an office in Philadelphia and an office in the Boston area. We're also beginning an expansion that's going to take us to other areas towards the middle and the west of the country. We are also able to, based on something that Stuart said earlier, I just kind of was thinking about it. He mentioned with regard to one of the products, higher, faster, stronger, and lower, and that's kind of what we're working towards. And I just like to say that we think you'll find in coming to work with us that you'll find innovation, which we'll share with Huawei, and you'll find responsiveness, and you'll find the needs of doing business that will establish a relationship we can continue on into the future.
Excellent. Okay, great answer. The next one probably is for Stuart, and the question is, do you have training available on the Huawei WLAN products, and kind of what is the offering around that?
Yeah, great question. Always, always one that we get on these webinars, as making sure that our customers are knowledgeable is number one for us. So there are a couple of ways for you to get trained. On the Huawei website, if you're looking for base information, there is a certification program for a Huawei certified sales professional, as well as a Huawei certified sales engineer, which will give you an overview, a complete overview of the product line. So that's the general, right? In addition to that, we have another internal organization that does, I'll call it, the more bits and bytes technical training, and that those are the 1, 2, 3, 4-day courses where you can receive certifications, in everything from your basic Huawei certified data professional or Huawei certified data engineer. We have a number of certifications that are out there that are available, and there is complete information on that up on the Huawei Enterprise USA site. If you would like to speak with someone directly about that, please feel free to reach out to me via the Huawei info@huawei.com, and I'll make sure I get you hooked up with the right individual to provide you with the training that you need for the products that you implement.
Excellent. Okay. The next one is, does Huawei have an MDM client for BYOD? And I think I'll go ahead and answer that one. The answer is yes, we do. It's part of our AnyOffice suite, which is a core component of our entire mobile device management offering. And really what this question is addressing is kind of the anxiety that a CIO or a kind of IT manager has if they start bringing BYOD into their environment and then people lose a device. So just a little bit of information about what the Huawei MDM client supports. First of all, you can wipe or retrieve information off that device. You can also decommission it so that that device is no longer usable. We also have support for asset and policy management. We can do jailbreak detection. A lot of times people will take, say, an Android device and jailbreak it so they can do different things with it, so our MDM client will support recognition of that. We also can support backup and recovery of that device, as well as general hardware control and even remote locking, as I was referring to. So it's a very comprehensive offering around MDM, and again, it's part of our AnyOffice suite. So if you're interested in that and you want more information, as Stuart mentioned, you can send a message into that Huawei info@huawei.com, and we can provide you more detailed information on that. But that's a great question. Stuart, I think this one's for you. One of the guys that said he hasn't yet implemented 802.11ac was just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about what the benefits are of 802.11ac.
Well, I touched on that a little bit on the AP 7120 slide. It's what's important with 11AC AP is it's backwards compatible, right? So you're protecting your investment, and it supplies sufficient bandwidth for gigabit access. And then on the slide I talked about higher, faster, stronger, right? So provides higher order 256 QAM modulation, so 33% more efficient. It supports the 8080 and the 8060 megahertz channels, so the highest speed in 4 times the rate of the earlier 802.11 standards. And then it supports a maximum of 8 by 8 with 8 spatial streams, giving you more powerful MU and MIMO beamforming. So basically, it's 802.11 on steroids. We've really pumped up the the throughput of these, and there are lots of independent testing agencies out there that have tested this and shown us to be #1 in the throughput.
Excellent. Okay, that's great. This question is from a partner, and the question is, if I want to become a Huawei partner, do you have a partner program, and how would I go about becoming a partner?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yes, Huawei does have a partner program with all of the basic certifications, authorized gold, silver, bronze. We have a detailed partner, I'll call it a partner portal portion, right, of the Huawei Enterprise USA site. And that's a portion of the portion of the site that is set aside for partners only, right? So we have complete information up there on the products. We have complete information up there on training that you might need as a partner, as well as the webinar series that people are participating in here. All of the webinars are up there. All of the pricing information that one might need, as well as a complete set of tools that help you put together your quote and/or your proposal for an implementation, and then a deal registration system. So if you a partner, if you have an opportunity out there to sell Huawei product, like I'm sure Rick has lots of, you have an ability to register your deal up there, which is very, very important, because not only does that secure that opportunity for you, but it lets us know about it so that we can make sure that we're supporting you properly in the effort of closing that opportunity. So a complete cadre of tools and services available to you as a Huawei partner, all available through Huawei Enterprise USA. And if you can't find it up there, come to me. I'd be more than happy to help you.
Excellent. Another question has to do with site survey and design. The question is, does Huawei have any tools to support site surveys for design of AP placement? I don't know if you want to answer that one, Stuart.
That's a good question. I mean, we do. Nick, do you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah, we actually do. There's a really cool app that runs on iPad and Android tablet, and basically the purpose of that tool that we've created is for you to go into a physical space, and first of all, it'll detect where all the existing APs are and determine if you have any coverage holes, as we were discussing earlier, and then it will help you with the design and placement of where you want to put your Huawei APs. And as Stuart talked in some detail earlier, the bidirectional antenna on the Huawei APs really does provide a much broader coverage area and avoids some of these coverage holes that are so common with some of the competitive solutions. So this tool is really used to help identify the current coverage and help you as you go into a design and deployment of new Huawei APs. So that's definitely, it's kind of a sexy tool as well, because it kind of comes up in a very graphical format on these tablets. So if you haven't seen this, it's definitely something to take a look at, and something our partners are enjoying using out in the field. So that's that one. I think, Stuart, we're kind of coming to the end of the questions here at this point. Are there any others that you wanted to bring up?
I don't see any others coming in through chat. I think we've gotten the important ones.
Well, in my answer earlier.
Okay, great. So
I'm sorry. This is Rick. In my answer earlier, I neglected to answer the piece about our verticals, and just realized it. But we have a couple of main verticals at Heavy Water. They are healthcare, legal, and education, which by virtue of some of our experience, individually, and the business we've built over the years have become a focus. However, we are horizontally focused and work with all types of industries and verticals to provide solutions.
Excellent. And I know there are other questions coming in about that site survey tool that I was talking about. So what we'll do after the webinar is we will email you guys information about how you can access that tool and take a look at it, because we really think it's part of the innovation and investment in R&D that Huawei makes. It's not just about the actual products themselves, but it's a lot about the tools that you need in order to go out and do your job. So we will give you guys information specifically about that tool and how you can get access to it, and we'd love to hear your feedback on it. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and close it out. If you didn't get your question answered, we will definitely follow up with you individually. But again, on behalf of everyone at Huawei and Heavy Water, we want to wish everybody a very happy and safe holiday season. We appreciate all the participation in the webinars throughout the year. It's been a phenomenal sequence of webinars, and you can rest assured that we're going to ramp up 2014 with a whole new series of webinars. So be on the lookout for our emails, and you can always check our website at HuaweiEnterpriseUSA.com to see the latest webinars or events that we'll be attending. And speaking of events, you might want to look up there. There's a number of events just in the first 2 months that Huawei is already going to be having a booth presence and attending. And some of these are in the educational space as well as the media and entertainment space and other events as the year goes on. So keep an eye out for that as well. So on behalf of Stu and Rick, I'd like to thank everyone for their time and look forward to getting your Starbucks card, and we will talk to you again very shortly. Happy holidays and Happy New Year to everybody.